Hey everyone, how's it going? So since yesterday, I've been working on a couple of pieces that use these intervals which require decimal MIDI numbers. And this first one, so these intervals that are written in the comments here, those are intervals from a root tone of A. So this 57 MIDI number is an A. And then I started composing this piece, and then I noticed that it kind of slipped into a like a B flat key, and um, so then I started writing something else that stays in A. But I'll play this one for you, and you can kind of hear, so these you see in this first little measure, I've used three of these decimal MIDI numbers that give us the kind of uncommon intervals, and then in the next four notes, it's basically the same thing except instead of playing this note that's between a B and a C, I just rounded up to a C instead of the note that's almost to a D sharp. I play a D sharp, and this note that's between F sharp and G, I just round that up to a G. So you'll hear kind of like a wobbly effect. And without further ado, I'm just going to put the camera in the log and try to make it so it's not too blurry. Here we go. Okay, so that's what I've got so far on that one. And like I said, uh, this had kind of slipped into a B flat, and I wanted to do something where, these intervals were coming from the root of the key that the piece was written in. So I did, I just went into another buffer and started writing something else. And so in this one, instead of using all three of those intervals, I just focused in on that septimal tritone, and that's the only um, note that you'll see with the decimal MIDI number is just that that note that's just below a D sharp. Um, and so yeah, this one's in a waltz time signature. So just listen for that. I've noticed that if I listen to this piece and my hearing is geared up to hear 4/4, it doesn't sound right for a second. It takes my ear a second to adjust. So just know that this is going to be like like that. And yeah, I'll go ahead and play this one for you all as well. Okay, so as you can tell, these are still pretty um, pretty early on in the compositions. But yeah, I just wanted to share so y'all could hear kind of what these intervals sound like in a piece of music. And it's nothing really that it doesn't really blow your mind. It's just a little bit different. And I'm going to keep searching. I think the next phase after I complete these two pieces, I'm going to kind of try and figure out some scales that utilize um, some of these intervals. And again, so there's something that I haven't tried yet that that Sam Aaron messaged me about. And he said, "Hey, have you tried this?" Nope, it's called Use Tuning, I think. So um, yeah, so if you enter in Use Tuning, you put the cursor over that, and then you hit, let's see here, do it from here, um, Control I. That's going to bring up this documentation. So it kind of, um, gives you a little information about how to use the use tuning function, and you can You can use just Pythagorean mean tone and equal intonations. And I don't know enough about these to really say too much about them in the video, but we use, like, if you're playing a piano or if you play a guitar or something like that, you're going to be using an equally tempered intonation. And basically, what that does is you can play, up and down the keyboard or up and down the fretboard and in different keys, and it's going to sound okay, but it's not going to be perfect. If you could use to adjust intonation, adjust tuning, and so in a given key you could get really perfect sounding harmonies. But then if you switch to another key, it's going to sound bad, or there's a high likelihood that there are going to be some what they call wolf notes. But anyways, I'll let you guys explore that. So again, that's just let's see, you just enter in use tuning, put the cursor over it, hit well, let me get the cursor back over it. You hit Control I, and that brings in your brings up your documentation, and you can play around with the use tuning function. But anyways, that's all for me for now. I'll work on these pieces. I'll probably be a couple days before I get them done, and I'll put them on SoundCloud, and then I'll move on to the next thing. So anyways, hope y'all are having a good Tuesday, and yeah, I'll post soon. Take care, y'all.